another level. I'm on another level. I'm on another level. I'm on another level. I'm on another level.
Welcome back, y'all. It's the Next Level Living Podcast. #1 ranked podcast amongst anybody who likes podcasts. It's your favorite podcast. Favorite podcast. And we back. Y'all, I'm Moss Talks, Mike Moss. I got my gang with me. Dream big, do bigger. K-Hart, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Mike, how you feeling?
I'm feeling like Mr. Next Level himself with this episode.
They already have one of those, though.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
It's only one?
He over here.
Oh, well then shout out to Jay then, my boy. What's up? How you feeling, my guy?
I'm good, man. Locked in, ready to get it.
I love it, man.
Yeah, ready to
Just
get
straight
it.
to it, huh?
Straight to
you
Okay,
already
well,
know.
we're going straight to it. Let's go to our spotlight for today.
Talk about next level.
David Kitchen.
Oh, he in the kitchen cooking.
He cooking for real. 40K in March, y'all.
Wait, what?
40K
Okay.
in 1
$40,000
month.
in
March.
1 month.
That's some people's salary for the whole year.
Listen, no, for real though.
Yeah, for real.
Lord, I'm gonna fight at you now. Let me think.
Sound like you need to become a speaker.
Oh, ain't no need to become.
Sound like you need to drop that flight attendant job.
No. We're doing both. First of all,
Okay.
I'm gonna get that speaking and I'm gonna keep that traveling. Okay.
Hey.
But kitchen just inspired me for sure. What's up? Shout out to David for sure.
He got the perfect name. I ain't gonna lie.
Kitchens.
In here cooking.
Oh, yeah, he in there cooking. Hey, so look, man, shout out to David, man. Super proud of you, bro. Your heart, your energy. He be coming to all the conferences, all the events we have. And I mean, he putting in that work and he getting results. And I'm not surprised. $40,000 in the month of March. Bro, you on pace to do $500,000 this year by speaking and changing lives. Bro, there's doctors and surgeons that don't make that type of money, man. Super inspired, super proud of you, bro. Yeah, let's get it, man. I love it.
Half a ticket.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That thing
Half
crazy.
a ticket, bro.
You.
That hit
Yes.
different when you
That
just
thing
said
crazy.
that. I was
Yeah.
in there trying to think. I was like, 40 for a year? It was
Yeah.
like half a ticket. I was like, oh, okay. For sure.
So if I
Yeah.
can name this episode, I would probably call this wins and losses.
Okay.
I don't know if we had one called that yet, but I would call this one wins and losses. And I'm gonna break down 2 significant losses, and then I'll share y'all how it's a win.
Okay.
What's the first one I want to share with y'all first? So we lost $500,000 in an investment.
Wait, you like a half of $1 million, $500,000
in one day.
in
Yep.
Lord.
I saw the account go down. I checked it and was just like, what is going on? And I said, that's a major loss. And I literally said,
Jesus.
I was pissed for about 4 minutes. Then I said,
four.
the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
4 minutes, Jay?
Blessed be the name of the Lord.
I call cap. 4 minutes, Jay. I've seen you spend more than 4 minutes with me being late. There's no way you lost half a ticket and you talk about I spent 4 minutes being upset. Now, we talked about patience, Jay, right?
You know I'm patient, Paul.
Yeah. We know that Tracy is patient. What you are is courageous. You're strong. you're there. But patience is still pending, okay? I want to know, did it really take 4 minutes? Give us the real, Jay.
I'm giving an approximate time. It might have took 2 minutes. It might have took 5. I just know it wasn't like an hour later. I was just like it happens.
Okay.
Because, with certain investments, you know what I'm saying? Like whether it's cryptocurrency or whether it's Forex or whether it's the stock market, like whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Real estate, like there are risks involved.
Okay.
But to literally see the account go down to $500,000 because I got an app where we check it. I wanted to throw up.
No, for real.
But, but after a few minutes, I was just like, we'll get it back eventually.
But has it been doing that? Like, is that normal?
Nah, it's not. Probably been about 2 years.
2 years
Yeah. But I mean, it happens. You know what I'm saying? But I think for me, I was more proud of, that's why I say wins and losses. Like that was a loss. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it was still a win because it didn't consume me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
there was a
absolutely.
day, there was a day, bro, I'd be on some gangster, some dodo stuff. Like, bro, run me my money. Like, bro, like, what you doing? Like,
Because you're still blessed enough to even have that be a loss.
come on, what are we talking about here? And so, and let me just thank you for saying that, Chris, because I don't want some of our viewers because they might not be in the spirit and they might have that jealous spirit, or they might just be in the struggle.
Right.
And it might be hard for them to even celebrate that I'm blessed to be in that position to even lose that much.
Right.
So I do want to say this. I don't want to sound out of touch. So I do realize how significant it is. So for the record, I do realize like $500,000, like that's a lot, that's life-changing money. Like I do recognize that.
Yeah.
And I'm not playing it small. I'm just not a slave to money no more.
Yeah.
So I lose $500,000, but I keep my joy. I lose $500,000, but I keep my peace. I lose $500,000, but I keep my sanity. I lose $500,000, but I keep my mind. I lose $500,000, you know what I'm saying, but I keep my smile because I know it came from God anyway. So I don't worship, you know what I'm saying, the source of the, you know what I'm saying, I don't worship the blessing. I worship the source of the blessing.
Yeah.
Now, if God remove his hand from me, I'm done, right? If God remove his favor from me, that's a wrap. Like if God remove his protection from me, like I'm in a really bad, dark place, right? But as long as I get him, all I can do is win. I'm not tripping on that. He'll replace it. The Bible says that God owns all the cattle on 1,000 hills anyway. What we even talking about? You know what I'm saying? And so it ain't my money anyway, it's his bread. I ain't gonna lie, when it happened, I told Trace, I said, babe, you see the account? She was like, yes, Dodo. I was like, Dodo. I said, don't trip though, boo. I already talked to the big guy upstairs. He gonna replace it. Like that's the energy. Man, I ain't come from money. I know how it feels to eat a mayonnaise sandwich. I had somebody one time say, what kind of meat in there? I'm like, no meat, bro. Mayonnaise. I remember visiting one of my grandmama's house in New Jersey. We opened the refrigerator, bro. It's just mayonnaise and bread. Like I know how it feels to struggle. I know how it feels to ask the landlord, can you give us an extension on the rent? Like I know how it feels. You know what I'm saying? Like to struggle. Like trust me, I'm just like you. I'm just blessed to be in a different position. And I told myself then my condition wouldn't be my conclusion. I told myself then my life ain't gonna always live like this. I told myself then I ain't gonna always live in this zip code. I told myself I ain't gonna always be living on this block. But if anything, I'm gonna buy the block. Like that's what I told myself years ago. So now that I'm in this position here, I'm still the same me. I ain't tripping. It's like it hurt. It did hurt. But again, I don't worship the blessing. I worship the one that gives the blessings. I worship the one that provides the blessings. So though I lost $500,000, I gained more faith. See, it's easy to have faith when everything working out great. But when things don't work out, now God like, let me see if you really love me. It's easy for me to love my wife when everything is smooth and she's doing everything perfect and she's just the ideal wife. But when she's not hitting on all cylinders, when we bumping heads and I still choose to love her, now my love is activated. My faith was activated when I lost $500,000. I believe God was like, let me see how my son gonna respond. And when he saw me open that app and see, thought it was a glitch, emailed my man and he was like, nah, we took a loss today. I was just like, that hurts. He was like, yeah, we are hurting. I was like, all right, bro. Like, and then after a few minutes of like being upset, I was over it because I was like, hey, it happens. I believe God was like, my boy. Because there was a time, Chris, I worship money. There was a time that little $5,000 in my account. I thought I was balling. I'm ready to hit the club. I found my value in the clothes I wore, the car I drive, and stuff like that. I ain't doing that no more. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm in that place now. So that's my first loss that I'll share. I got a second one.
You also around people that are taking the same loss, and like Tracy didn't respond to it. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, she wasn't frantic or anything like that. She's just like, yeah, Dodo. Like, I guess y'all. I mean, when y'all on the same page, it makes it like, okay,
Can
cool.
I speak to that?
Yeah.
So my wife Tracy reads on average maybe 2-3 books a year. She done already read 5 books in the first quarter this year. 5 books, bro.
Wow.
She just read God Is by Priscilla Schreier. Then she read Awaken. Now she's reading Fervent. I'm just seeing my wife. And so when we talk that L, and you know, my wife's love language, you know, like the physical touch and acts of service and words of affirmation, she don't really move stability. Checking that bank account. Like, okay, we good. That's her love language. So for her to be wired like that and see we lose $500,000, it's like, so Dodo. You want to do enchiladas or you want to do nachos? I was like,
that's crazy.
I was like, what are we doing here?
Like, I don't even know how to respond
she was
to
just
this.
she was like, so Dodo, I saw that earlier and just moved on.
Praise God.
And I was just like, wow, that's
God.
different. But I get it because she been growing spiritually. She reading books. She working out. Her mind is different. She renewed. She like, yeah, that sucks, but we'll get it back. She's like, shoot, I remember driving around. I remember one time I got a check. This is so Dodo. I ain't gonna tell the whole story because y'all be clowning me, but I got a check in the mail and we wasn't sure if it was real or if it was a scam. But me and Tracy was out here hurting so bad. We went to every check casting place in Huntsville and tried to cash that check. We put signatures on there, like we doing some dodo stuff because we was struggling.
Yeah.
So she remembered where we was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes when you get to a certain point, it's like, man, I want to stay here. It's like, hey, God is in control. And so that was my first. That was my first loss.
God told me to tell you there's some stuff you don't have because you're still trying to prove to people you are who he said you are.
I am who I am today because I've mastered the art of releasing.
You guys need to be here. I'm telling you, this whole experience has changed my whole entire life and my speaker brand.
I've been doing it for 16 years. Never went to a person and said, and there can be mine.
Some people will never be able to deal with their dysfunction until they discover their destiny.
Love, you can't stop me. I can't stop myself.
I've been doing this for 11 years. I've never seen anybody like Jeremy.
It was life-changing. I mean, I was just in awe.
You gon' block me? Now ask me how I feel, knowing nobody can stop me. Woo! Yeah, I can't stop me. Ask me how I feel, knowing nobody can stop me. Yeah. Yeah, I can't stop me. Only person stopping me is me and homie. I can't stop me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, y'all ready to hit the second one?
Yeah, let's hit the second one.
If you are, I'm
This one. I think this one hurt even more than the $500,000. So, we were looking at securing 40 acres in Atlanta. Found the land. We love the land. We love the environment. It was in the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know how some people, like, we live in Stone Mountain right now, but it's not really Atlanta. But people ask me where you live. I live in Atlanta. Now, these 40 acres was actually in the city of Atlanta, across from a park, right? Just such a beautiful situation. And we paid the surveyor, we paid contractors. We probably paid the surveyor maybe, I don't know, 15 grand to go out and just survey the land, just to make sure when you go to buy land, that's a big investment.
Right.
Like, you can't do that without spending tens of thousands of dollars, and then you could not get it. Like, that is a risk.
Yeah.
And you can't go and buy 40 acres without getting it surveyed, because you want to make sure, man, I bought this
Soil,
land.
all that
The soil
stuff,
is
yeah.
good. Right. The certain trees, the topography, you know what I'm saying? The water fields, like the lakes, the creeks, the rivers, like where we can build, where we can't build. This house is on our property, or is it not? Okay, so that I own this house now too. Like, it's so many different variables. So we paid that. We paid like $25,000 in earnest money, which is money we put up to the seller, and the agent like, hey, we serious. So we sent you a wire of 25 grand. We got another 15,000 invested. So we $40,000 cash all in. And we're going through the funding, and it falls through. I literally meet with the banks, the people, and we talking about the land. Land is expensive, especially in the city limits.
city.
And so we meet with the bank, and we go, I won't say the actual bank, but this bank is not a normal bank. This ain't like Bank of America, Wells Fargo. We actually went and met with a bank that does agriculture sales. Okay. So all they do is specialize in land and buying farms and farm equipment and stuff like that. Okay. So and they're telling me, man, this is actually very expensive, but for per acre, it's actually a really good deal. They're like, Mr. Anderson, your credit is perfect. And he's like, and we see all your financial statements. Everything looks great. You can easily afford this. Yeah. But our system denies you. So I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not a wise investment, because the acreage is good for this price point. You said I got perfect credit. They went back 8 years. Wow. You know how some folks be looking, they was like, man, we didn't find anything there. And you have more than enough income, but our system. So Tracy's like, what system? We in Georgia now. Don't get it twisted. I know Atlanta folk feel like it's the Black Mecca, but we in Georgia. Right. So Tracy's like, what system? I talked to my agent. They're like, we ain't never heard nothing like this. So I asked to speak to a manager. My man was like, I am the manager. So so let me tell you something. Because I began to feel, now that lasted longer than 4 minutes. I ain't gonna cap. Because I felt rage rising in
And
my
that,
heart.
and that felt personal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the first
Absolutely.
one wasn't personal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is personal. Because I'm like, look, bro, help me explain. Because the land is it. It's in a great location. I can afford it. You've seen all my financials across all of our companies and personal.
Yeah.
I'm like, and you say I got, so how could I not? I can explain to you, that's just what our system came back with. And I was just like, okay, but this is what gave me peace. Like, I really don't want to be the Christian that say scriptures. I really believe what God has for me is for me.
Yeah.
So somebody else could not get that land. We could get that land a year from now.
Yeah.
Or God could be like, son, that was never really what you wanted. You know what I'm saying? I'll replace the $40,000 you lost.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just checking your heart. Are you going to be mad at me? Are you going to catch an attitude with me?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to be on some guy you played me? And what also made this hurt even more than losing $500,000, this came within the same week too. So I'm talking about like, that's like a 2-piece combo.
Yeah.
And so, but what also hurt is me and Tracy did so much work with turning in applications and filling out forms and documentations. And that's a lot of stuff you got to do. I'm getting land surveyed. I went and bought like the big swamp boots to walk the land with the land architect. You know, they got architects for land.
I didn't know
that
that.
can create the slopes and the trees and the rocks and the boulders and the driveways. I'm meeting with him. They flying drones. Like, we doing all this work to lose the land. So I have to say, okay, what did I gain? I gained the experience.
Right.
I gained a new perspective. Gained some friendships because now I know some of the top contractors and architects, you know, in the city. It gained some more insight, you know what I'm saying? But this is all a part of it. So when you get to certain levels, like folks be wanting to run out here with the big boys. It's like, man, you got to be able to really play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. I'll never forget when we first got Tracy, her first luxury car, we first got married, we got her a used Mercedes. It was like maybe 2-3 years old, but it was really, really nice. But when she had to get that oil change,
Oh yeah.
so that sucker was $1,600, bro. She was like, "What in the world?"
You get an oil change?
Yeah, that thing was stupid.
$1,600 for an oil change.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
And so, but I say that because it's like that's what comes with it. It's like, okay, so you want a house with 4 acres. Okay, you can afford it, but can you afford to get the 4 acres cut?
Yeah.
Can you afford the landscaping?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Can you afford, okay, you want the house, you can afford the house, but can you afford the heat and the water bill for this house? Like, there are things people, like my pool, I ain't gonna throw no numbers out there, but it's like that costs us, you know, it's a lot of money to maintain every single week for them to come out and clean it. So people don't always see that. So I even look at like where I am now, God, it's like, son, there's levels to it. That's why I couldn't put you here a year ago, because you wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. So now when I lose $500,000, I'm like, man, God, that sucks, but you faithful. Then we lose these 40 acres. I'm like, man, God, I done went to Instagram. I done been on stage at conferences speaking, testifying about this, and it didn't come through. But sometimes that's what faith look like.
Yeah.
I feel like our faith got to be so big, you know what I'm saying, that we're willing to be embarrassed or we willing to look dolo, because it's like, God, I know you're going to come through for me.
That's it.
So whether it comes through or not, matter of fact, I'm going to call my agent when we get done to see if anybody else has scooped the land up. Because if it's for us, it's going to work out.
Yeah.
And maybe God will say, just drop cash. But certain investments is like, nah, that's not wise. You keep your capital, you use the bank's money.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But maybe God is saying to do something different. So I just don't want to force it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to walk through the doors he want me to walk through.
Yeah.
But if a door is closed or locked, I'm not kicking no doors down.
Yeah.
Because I rock with God.
Yeah.
I was kicking in doors when I was on self. I was kicking in doors when I was on flesh.
Okay.
Here
I
we
was
get
kicking
into
in,
it.
I was kicking in doors when I was on what I wanted. I'm not on that no more. I'm like, I'm only kicking in I'm not kicking in no doors. I'm only going through the doors that God opens for me.
Yeah,
Now I might have to knock, because he said, if you knock, I'll open it. If you seek me, you'll find me. If you call, I'm an answer. So I'm not kicking in no doors no more. I'm not going in rooms or sitting at tables or being in circles I'm not supposed to be in. I'm not begging nobody to be my friend. I'm not begging nobody to love me. I'm not begging nobody to accept me. I'm at peace with who God called me to be, and I'm going to keep rocking with that. And when he gives me more opportunities, I'm tapped in. So I'm not kicking in no doors, but I will walk through every single door that God opens for me. And those doors, they get shut in my face, I'm like, whew, bet. Because I
Thank you for
dodged the
saving
bullet.
me. Yep.
Because what he got for me is for me. So I ain't got to worry about, well, sometimes you got to really want, I'm not forcing nothing.
Yeah.
I force myself to get up every morning at 4 o'clock to seek the face of God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I force myself to watch my tongue when I deal with my wife. I'm not forcing, you know what I'm saying, nothing else. Like I'm forcing myself to be more present with my children. I'm forcing myself to be a better leader. I'm forcing myself to find more mentors and coaches to take me to the next level. But I'm not forcing other things that I want. I'm forcing myself to be the best I can be. And that's going to put me in the best position to attract what God wants me to have.
I like that.
Yep.
I like that.
Just like that.
Shoot.
So the $500,000 hurt.
Yeah.
The land hurt even more. Yeah. But man, God is still faithful.
He's still faithful.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And as much as that sucks, and I was pissed for 4 minutes. And then I think for the land, I don't know, maybe a day or so.
Yeah.
The land, because I just couldn't understand it.
Yeah.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I just couldn't. It's Mike, I'm thinking like, because I don't want to play the race card.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy. But I'm just like,
and even
bruh.
if it is, God may have used that to redirect you. He's like, yeah, I know you so set on this, but I want you to go buy land in Africa. That 40 acres is supposed to be not here. It's supposed to be somewhere else. But you so set on being here.
Wait till I see the spot we're looking at Cape Town.
He's like, you so set on being here.
You about to piss
The
me
next level
off.
is not here. Sorry.
Yeah, that could be it. And you know what my agent told me? She said, Jeremy, it could be blood on that land that God don't want you to have. She said it. She said there could be blood on that land. She was like, you don't know. She was like, you don't know what's the land. Because this is undeveloped land.
Yeah.
So let me be clear. This is not land. This is not land that's like developed. This is undeveloped, raw, natural land, trees. I'm seeing boulders as high as the ceiling in here and trees growing through it. I'm seeing land that ain't been touched or developed since creation.
Wow.
And so she like, it might have been slaves that was hung on this land.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It might have been some evil things that took place and God don't want you here. Or it could just be something where because he's the drama king, where he's just trying to build it up to give a bigger testimony.
The drama king.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just glad to be at peace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because there was a time when losing $500,000 would have broke me.
Right.
And me and Tracy going back and forth, and we upset. I told you that wasn't a good investment. I'm like, you ain't got no. We ain't on that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially knowing how careful she is with money.
Oh,
yes.
for sure. So it just goes to show the growth, the development. So though we lost that, we gained a new perspective.
Yeah.
We gained a new purpose, a new peace. We gained a new understanding, and we was really to lean in more on our faith.
Praise God.
Yeah. So we'll be good. So for all of our next levelers out there that's trying to figure out like, and I shared, and let me tell y'all why I wanted to share that with you. Because some of y'all might feel like, man, I can't even bump what you can relate to. You probably can't. You probably thinking like, bro, I can't relate to that. Well, what can you relate to?
Yeah.
Like, stop playing. So you here for this long, so let me bless you real quick.
What can you relate
What
to?
can you relate to? Did you lose a job and you angry? Well, you have the same mindset. Count it all joy. The Lord giveth and taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Though he slay me, still I'll trust him. That's the mindset you got to have. I've been slayed, and I'm like, God, I'm still going to trust you. Yep, you've taken away, but blessed be the name of the Lord. Job. Like, what's the point of us reading these Bible stories and these verses and studying this thing if we really not going to live it and we really not going to embrace it?
Yeah.
So whoever this is for that's listening, you might feel like, bro, 40 acres, I'm just trying to give me this apartment. I'm about to get evicted. Okay, but let me tell you something. What happens when you do the best you can and that don't work out? God's still good.
All the time.
God is still faithful. You know what I'm saying? He's still going to provide. He's still going to look out for you. It might not be ideal. It might not be exactly what you want, but he's still in control. But the enemy wants for your faith to be shaky. And as long as things is good, you locked in. But when it's not good, you harden your heart. I got family members right now that feel a certain type of way because they're not in a certain level in their life. And it's like, bro, that's your fault. Don't put that on God. Now you don't want to tap in with God. Now you don't want to go to church. You really weren't in tune with him in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And now whenever you lose this one thing you had going for you, now you done lost your mind. Why? Because that was your God. That wasn't your real source. And so I tell people all the time, man, you got to tap in with the source. You know, it's in the Bible. I've been studying John 15. He says that I am the true vine. God is like, I am the husbandman, the gardener. Jesus is the true vine, and you the branches. If you bear fruit, I will prune you so you can be even more fruitful. He was like, but a branch that is not connected to the vine is like one that will wither and die. And those are only good to be gathered and thrown in the fire. You know what I'm saying? So like my source, you wondering why losing $500,000 don't cripple me? You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't walking on money. So money can't cripple me. I was walking on faith. Yeah. And that's the reality about it. So I'm looking at God like, man, that $500,000, man, God, that sucks, but you faithful. And you'll replace it. Ain't nobody tripping on that. I've seen you do too many times, too many other things. I've seen you part too many seas. I've seen you heal too many lands. I got no doubt what you can do. So that's the mindset now that you have to have. So for those of y'all that feel like, man, I'm struggling. Those of y'all that feel like, man, I'm tired. Those of y'all that feel like, man, things ain't working out for me. Trust me, I get it. When I tell y'all I've been getting hit, why y'all think I told y'all last week that I was going to spend 2 days, you know what I'm saying, with that counselor up in the country town of North Carolina? Like, why do I tell y'all I'm doing some of that hard work to make sure I'm as strong as possible so I can be the best version of me I can be, so that these things don't cripple me? I want to keep my stride. I want to keep moving forward. And I want y'all to do the same thing. So those of y'all that feel like, man, it's not working out, I'm tired, I don't get it, you might not be able to relate to what I'm talking about, but you can relate to my faith. You can relate to that perspective, because we all have a different perspective. We all got different levels of faith, and we all are going through something. I'm just letting y'all know what I'm going through, and I can tell y'all a whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want my blessings, but they don't want the crosses I got to carry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't want the other stuff that I have to go through. And so I just share that with y'all, our next levelers, our community, to let you know it's not always sweet, to let you know that things can go wrong, that things can go south. And it comes to test your faith. It comes to produce perseverance, so we're not lacking nothing. So when I look at the pain I've endured, when I look at the suffering, when I look at the hard times, I'm just like, man, this is not what I expected, God, but I believe you. I trust you. Your plan is perfect. So I'm going to rock with you, and we're going to figure this thing out together. And I don't know why, y'all, but in my brain, I literally feel like I can't fail, because God can't fail. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I got real confidence. We had that episode a few months ago. Like, I got real confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, not confidence in me, but I got confidence in God. You know what I'm saying? And you can't go wrong when you have confidence in God. You know, I could lose everything tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But as long as I got my mind, as long as I got my voice, you know what I'm saying? As long as I got my people, we can get it back. I'm not tripping on that. And your biggest takeaway is not to worship the blessing, right? It's to worship the one that provides the blessing, because he can provide it over and over and over again. And if God does see fit to take something from you, you're not going to always understand it. Faith is not believing what God can or cannot do. Faith is being at peace when he says no. Faith isn't just, I got faith it's going to work out. Faith is saying, even if it don't work out, I'm good. Even if it don't work out, I'm Gucci. Even if it don't work out, he's still faithful. Even if I lose his $40,000, it's going to hurt. He'll replace it. Even if I lose $500,000, that hurt, teardrop, I'm going to get over it, and he going to give it back. Like, that's what faith is. You know what I'm saying? Even though I got that diagnosis, okay, I ain't going to die yet. I still got another 6 months. I still got another 2 months, even though I lose that job. Okay, well, that ain't the end. I can apply for another job, even though I went through that divorce. Okay, I ain't going to be single forever. Somebody going to love me and not abuse me. Like, it's not the end. You know what I'm saying? And that's the beautiful thing about life. We have life inside of us to keep moving, to keep fighting, to keep pressing forward. And so whatever it is you got to do, whatever it is you got to figure out to do that work on the inside, so it shows real strong on the outside. When people see me on stage talking and speaking, and they see the authority, they don't understand what I've been going through behind the scenes. They don't understand the struggles, the sacrifices, the tears, the counseling, the growth behind the scenes. You see the finished product when I stand in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you coming to somebody's house, and you know, you coming in and the lasagna is good, and the corn and the salad's prepared, and the salad dressing is there, the table is set. You see the end product. You ain't see when there was flour everywhere, when they was making homemade pasta. You ain't see the sauce splattering, you know what I'm saying, the tomato sauce from the lasagna. You ain't see the smoke in the plate. You ain't see the dirty kitchen. You saw the end product. So don't look at me and see the end product. Don't look at yourself and see the end product. You look at yourself and say, okay, I'm a part of a process. God is doing a process right now within me. And I'm just going to rock with this process, and I'm going to trust and believe that the finished product is going to be ready to be shared with the world. Again, we don't worship the blessing, right? We don't praise the blessing, but we worship and praise the one that provides the blessing. And if we can really understand that, now we embarking upon next level living.